that other people can learn trading? Like, so if I'm if I'm the person that says, I'm working, I'm creating salary, I can allocate some of this, and I can go into the market. Is it something you'd recommend for someone who's looking for a way to expand their wealth, or do you think that there's some unique attributes that most people don't possess?
I don't believe that there's any unique. Here's the unique attribute: the willingness to save, and the willingness to sacrifice.
Right.
That is the unique attribute in our country right now. Most people spend everything they make.
Right.
If you live right now in a 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath, 2-car garage, and then you get a raise, say you're making $75,000, then you get a raise to $100,000. Almost immediately, our country has to go out now and go from the 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath, 2-car garage. Well, hell, we got to get the 4-bedroom, 3-bath, 3-car garage. And that's the society we live in. And so no one is willing to go from $75,000 to $100,000, live the same lifestyle, and take all that extra money, even if it's in a mutual fund.
Right.
Here's what's real funny to me, Patrick. 401ks. You'll speak to some people and you'll say, "Hey, do you invest in your 401k?" Every now and then you get that person that feels good and they're like, "Yeah, put in money every month." Great, nice. What fund are you in? Oh, they don't know.
Right.
And every now and then you'll have someone that'll say, "Oh, I'm in a small cap, whatever." Oh, nice. What are their top 10 holdings? Oh. So you have people putting money into a 401k that have no clue what the money's even going to. They don't know how long the person who's been running the fund has been running the fund. They don't know the top 10 holdings. They just know they're putting money into something. Again, let's go back. Who's been studying their 401k on the weekend?
Right.
Who's taking the time to realize, oh, I'm in this fund. Top 10 holdings are ExxonMobil, Apple, da-da-da-da-da. Oh, Patrick's been running this fund since 1997. Returns since inception are 13%. Fund's been around since 97, 2008. Who's doing that homework? Very few people.
So one of the most important categories of life is their financial and wealth accumulation, yet almost no attention paid to it.
Exactly.
It's kind of absurd.
So I'm probably going to piss a lot of people off when I say this, but I'm willing to. When I was in the mortgage industry, what I found amazing was when everything blew up, you had our society pissed at the banks. Goldman, all of them, Lehman, Washington Mutual, they did this, they did this. Last time I checked, no one made you sign the documents. So as much as I do blame banks for their piece, I believe it's a dead set 50-50 split.
Right.
The banks were wrong for some of the things they were doing. They knew what was happening, and people were signing on to loans that they knew they had no business signing up for.
Right.
But no one talks about the personal accountability over here on this side. It's let's blame the big banks. You are ultimately buying something that for many people will be the biggest purchase they ever make, and you're not going to take the time to understand what you're signing. You're going to blame the bank for that? No.
Yeah. Interesting. It all comes down to self-responsibility.
Yes.
Yeah, doesn't it?
And to your point, you asked me, personal accountability. I am personally accountable for, am I going to be a victim or am I going to move forward? And that's where it starts for me. I can dwell and ask myself all the time, why was I born to a pimp father and an orphaned mother? Why did I go through the things that I went through? But I can ask why all day. Doesn't change anything. But man, I can go study quarterly earnings and make some cash.
So, and here's another thing I think, and it goes to mindset, that you went from basically rags to really growing in a career, accumulating some money, and then you crashed again.
Yeah.
How was that cycle? Was that devastating to you?
It sucked.
Yeah, well, it
wasn't devastating. Here's why. Here's something that I can't imagine. Imagine if you were born into a family of wealth and you've always had wealth, and now you're 40 years old, and for whatever reason, your wealth is wiped out, and now you don't have any. Man, I cannot imagine what goes through that person's mind. I came from being broke. I knew what being broke felt like. So I was very familiar with it.
Yeah.
And it sucked. And yes, I had a lot of heart-to-heart conversations with myself of how could you do this? You were a lottery winner. You made all this money only to blow it all and not have any. But I knew, okay, I made it once, I can do it again. And that's my mentality. Did it once, I'll do it again. Now I'll never go back to doing that again.
You learned something.
Yeah, it wasn't devastating for me. It sucked. Obviously, I didn't like it. I will say it was a huge character builder for me because what I was able to do was look at myself in the mirror and say, okay, I had all this money. Now this money's gone. What am I left with? What's my character? Who am I as a person? What do I want to be going forward? Do I just want to dwell on, oh, I lost all this money? The money didn't define me. It was a real moment for me to realize, man, I can't even hold a relationship. I'm incredibly disrespectful to women. I've been a monster in relationships. What's the character I want to be? And that's what became the building of really, I guess, me, part two.
If you've got some ambitious young people out there that are saying, hey, I want to go, carve out my place in the world and make it happen, anything you'd say to them? What advice would you give?
Mindset, choices, hard work equals success. And on top of that, I would say find out what is it you want to do and just dive 100% into it. It's interesting. Some people will still email me, reach out to LinkedIn, and those who put time into the question they're asking me or what it is they're wanting, I'll actually email back, say, hey, let's schedule a 30-minute call. And because if you've put time into it, I remember being the person who was once asking the questions,
right,
once wanting the feedback. So I would say find out what it is you want to do. Do you want to work at Goldman Sachs? Do you want to be a doctor? Do you want to run a nonprofit? There's nothing wrong with that. What is it that you want to do? And put every ounce of energy into it. And for those young people who are wanting what I call extreme success, and success isn't defined by financials.
Right.
They want to be clear on that. It's not by financials alone. For me, it was because of the way I grew up. But if you want extreme success in whatever it is you do, success comes with sacrifice. So don't walk around yelling work-life balance, because there is none if you want extreme success. Now, you may find some after you achieve a certain level of success, then you can start to dabble in a little work-life balance. But when you're on the grind, the hustle to achieve that extreme success, you need to go ahead and put work-life balance on the shelf. Be willing to sacrifice. Be willing to work a Saturday or Sunday. Be willing to work till 9, 10, 11 o'clock at night. And don't complain about it. Realize that's how you're going to get there.
Any final thoughts for the people out there who really want to figure out how to get financially independent and create wealth and preserve wealth and grow wealth?
I'd say similar to what we just talked about right there. If you want to understand the stock market, I'll give you a great example. A friend of mine, he goes, okay, teach me some things. So we're watching CNBC. And he goes, man, what does all that stuff under there on that chart mean? It said JJASO. And he goes, what is all that? I go, June, July, August, September. And he goes, you're kidding me. I go, no, it's not as hard as people think it is. But it's not all going to come to you at once either. You have to put in some time. I wake up, literally, the TV turns on, set to alarm, CNBC or Bloomberg. That's how I wake up. I have found an immense love in business and in investing. That's where I dedicate my time. Business, investing in my family. And so dig deep, do the research, study, and realize it's not going to happen overnight.